Welcome to the Civic Circus podcast. I am Spencer Duncan. This edition's a little bit of what I'm going to call a special edition. It's a little outside the norm. My son, Connor, my stepson, Connor, has been asking me to be on the podcast for a little while. And at first I just kept saying, no, I don't think so. He's 11 years old. And I kind of went back and forth on it. I think in politics, kids are always kind of one of those things where you think to yourself, they're off limits, right? You don't really go after or use people's families for or against them unless they're really part of the process. But that's always the rule, right? When you're elected or you're running for office, you're fair game. But you've always tried to not kind of include the families too much and keep that part private for their own sake. But the truth is, the hypocrisy of that is sometimes we talk about our families a lot when we're answering questions or we're talking to the public, and we put them in photos of materials that we use, right? So we always want to use them for the positive, and that's okay. People want to know, do you have a family? What is that family like? They want to get to know a little about you, and through your family, they get to learn more. But so it was a tough call. Should we let him come on or not? And finally, we talked about it a lot. We talked to Connor about it a lot, and we thought, you know what? Let's let him do it. The worst case is if it went terribly, we just wouldn't air it and no one would ever know, right? Although we always don't edit things here much and we try to air them, but that was always a backup plan. But the truth is, I always think it's a good way to get to know people is to see how they relate to their kids, how those conversations go. And you always learn something about parents through their children a little bit. And especially when you're an elected official, you can say you're a family person all you want, but are you really? And watching people interact with their kids kind of gives you some of that insight. So in the end, I thought, you know what? We'll let Connor and I sit down, have a conversation, see where it goes. We'll try to enjoy it. And that's what we did. So that's what this episode of the Civic Circus is. It's me, it's Connor. It's a little bit of some serious talk, but also a lot of crazy talk, a little zombie apocalypse in there. For you to enjoy. And so with that, I hope you enjoy this special edition of the Civic Circus podcast. So let's start the show.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right. So, I went to the dentist today and they took really long needles and they put them way into my mouth. You're pretty good at the dentist, actually. How many teeth have you lost? Do you even know?
Most of them.
Including, what color were your caps? Was that what they were called? Crowns, caps?
Yeah, they were green.
Green? They were silver.
Oh.
So should the world know you're colorblind?
Yeah.
Yep. You and Mom. So I don't even know what colors look like to you. Sometimes you'll say to me, hey, like, what was the Jeep the other day? You told me it was a green Jeep and it was like yellow, or so it wasn't yellow, but it was brown or something.
No, you said it was red.
Or you said it was brown, and it was red. I think it was, and you said it was brown. That makes no sense to me. All right, well, are you glad to be here?
Kind of.
Kinda. You've never been on a podcast before, have you?
No, why are you stopping me from moving?
Because it makes noises. You hear it creaking? He's moving his chair. Not everyone can see this. It's on YouTube, but some people are listening. They can hear your creaking.
Are you against the anti-chair noise?
I mean, it picks it up. Then when people are listening in their car to our podcast, they're going to hear, hi, creak, creak, hi, creak, creak. All right, so
Get a better chair.
That's true. It is a pretty bad old chair. So I didn't change the format of this podcast just because you're on it. Even though this is like a special edition, we're still going to do it kind of the same way I do every podcast, all right? We start off with 2 topics of the week, but I formatted them a little. So there'll be things you could talk about because I don't think you want to talk about the city budget unless you do. Any thoughts on the city budget? No? Okay. So the first one is let's talk about biking in the city, right? We have a lot of bike lanes all throughout the city, but we're not going to talk about that. What is the one thing you and I get frustrated about that not enough places have?
There's a McDonald's without a bike rack.
Right. And they're not the only one, right? And what did we do? And we like McDonald's.
We went to the owners. We talked to the owners.
And we
then
said
they did it to like every single McDonald's besides the one closest to us.
Right. There's no bike rack at that one, right? But we pay attention to that, don't we? Because we like to ride our bike around the neighborhood and check things out. But they need bike racks if they want us to shop there, right?
Yeah.
And not just us. When we go to some of those places and we sit out there, do we see, like, is it just us or do we see lots of other people with bikes?
Some guy took a bike into the McDonald's.
He did because there was no bike rack. So this will be our second request. First of all, to the McDonald's near our house. McDonald's, you can contact me. We'll tell you which one.
To the Wendy's And every fast food place, I think none of them have bike racks.
Well, a lot of them do. But if you don't have a bike rack and you're a business, especially a retail or a restaurant, get a bike rack. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
It's easier for us to go there.
Especially Golden Corral.
They might have a bike rack. We've never looked because we've never biked to Golden Corral.
No, they don't. I don't think they do.
Well, next time we go there, we'll have
My
to look.
school's more advanced than that McDonald's. They just got a bike rack.
Be nice to Golden Corral. You're related to the owners. They're your cousins.
Yeah.
But yes, so we should really be able to talk to the owner if they don't have a bike rack. All right, so more bike racks. Is that our message of the week here?
More bike racks.
More bike racks. But that means we also need to get some bike locks, doesn't it? We need bike locks for our
Yes,
car.
make bike lock cheaper.
You don't even know how much they are.
They're like $30.
All right. So you want to go to the second topic of the week? Since you're here, I thought I would ask you. So you live in a household with a city council person, right?
Yeah.
So if you want something, you can just come to me and be like, Dad, why don't we do this in the city,
Oh,
right?
yeah. One example. One time I was like, for no reason, Dad, we have an Xbox One, super out of date. Can you just buy me an Xbox Series X?
That
And
has nothing.
Yeah.
Yes, I did not just buy you a new Xbox.
Yes, he did.
Well, that was because the old one. How did I get the old one? Do you remember? It was pretty old.
Yes, he spent a ton of money on my mom's wedding ring. So the guy working there just gave him a free Xbox.
So let's review that. It was not a ton of money. It was a normal amount of money for a engagement ring, and we bought it on Black Friday. And anyone who bought jewelry that day got a free Xbox. So we got a free Xbox with a jewelry store.
Everyone should have bought him like 5 rings.
Well, and Mom and I have now been married for 8 years this year, and we got engaged 9 years ago. So that means that Xbox was pretty old. It was time.
Y'all have been married 3/4 of my life.
I know. That's right. And where did we get married? You remember?
The Capitol.
We did. Was that kind of weird?
Yeah, kind of.
Do you remember that day?
Yeah, the first time we went through, I ran down the line saying, Mom, I have to go to the bathroom.
So Poppy, my dad, your grandfather, did the ceremony, and we got married in the House chamber of the Capitol building. And so we got to walk down the middle. Everyone got to who came got to sit in the gallery or in where the legislators got to sit. And Poppy got to stand at the podium where legislators talk to do the vows for us to do the ceremony. And Mom and I walked down the aisle, down the middle of the house. And then, yes, you came running down it. And then you wanted to hold our hand and you wanted to swing back and forth while Poppy was trying to do the ceremony. And then you kept kicking the podium. I mean, it was kind of funny, but still.
No, when I ran down on the line, it was because I needed to tell Mom I had to go to the bathroom.
Well, that was the worst time to tell Mom you had to use the restroom.
So then we had to redo it.
We did not redo it. We just let it ride.
I thought we did.
That's
I thought
probably
we
why.
did a second take.
That's probably why you were so antsy, because you had the rings. You were the ring kid, whatever they call it, the ring bearer. Yeah. So that was a fun day, though. I'm glad
Tessa
you.
did offer me a teddy bear instead,
That's true.
and
That's
I did
true.
not take it.
That's true. You were offered a teddy bear to carry the rings. But I'm glad you remember some of that, because you would have been like 3 years old.
I was 3.
Yeah, you don't have to sound like you're 3,
Okay.
because you're now 11.
I have a good
You're almost
baby
12.
voice.
What grade you going into?
6.
All right, so let's go back to my original question. So my original question was, you have somebody, if you want something different in the city, not anything to do with getting rid of our old Xbox, like in the city, you can just tell me, like bike racks, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but not everyone has that. There's only 9 of us who are elected, 10 if you count the mayor. So how do you think other kids your age
Post
can talk,
office.
can tell me, a council person, what they want to see better in the city?
Can people just come to your guys' meetings if they're...
They can. Anyone can. Doesn't matter what age you
so the kids
are.
can tell their parents, and then the parents can come to the meetings and then tell you guys after.
Why can't the kids just come to the meetings?
They need an adult.
No, I mean they need an adult to drive them there, adult
Yeah.
supervision, but they can sit, they can stand up in the meeting and tell us what's going on.
I don't
Right?
know.
You've been to the meeting,
I
What-
know, but that was with Mom.
right? But what did you do? Do you remember?
I just sat there.
No, you came and do you remember
Oh,
you gave
yeah,
the
you made me
opening.
give a speech.
You gave the opening prayer one night for the invocation, they call it. You remember that? So can other kids? They don't need to come do that, but they can come anytime they want to a meeting. They can also call me. They can also email me.
So are we dropping your phone number?
207-8985. That's my council phone number. 785-207-8985. So see, they can mail me a letter. They can come to my office hours at Fairlawn Plaza. You never come. I always ask you if you want to come, and you're always like, no.
Oh, can I also come here?
Here, well, this is the office. I have a meeting here tomorrow with a constituent. So see,
If you'll figure out where this is, sometimes you'll be here.
it's not a secret either. You can find this on the internet. All right, so those are all the ways kids can also get in touch with me. All right, so now we can move to the part where I interview my guest. Are you my guest?
Yeah. Let me skip.
You need to scoot back, scoot up. No, you can't. You're too far from the mic.
No, where's Crazy Grass Applesauce and come forward.
Oh, okay. All right, much better. All right, so now I'm going to interview you. You ready? This is what I do when I say to my guest, I put the spotlight on you. And then when we're done, you get to put the spotlight on me. Because I hear there's some questions in here that I have not seen that you came up with. Because all my guests are told to ask me questions, but I don't want to know what they are before you
I have a
ask.
silly one for him.
That's good. All right, so one of the reasons you're here today is because I wanted people to get to meet you and they can see how we interact. And then they learn more about me that way. And that's important. That's one of the reasons I do this. But also, you have been talking about wanting to have your own YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about that as a family, right?
For 2 years, he keeps saying one more week, and then it's taking
Yeah,
him
but
a year
it's
and
also
a half.
you're a kid, and we worry about putting our kid on the internet. There's a lot of safety
You don't
issues.
even have to use a face cam.
Right, but so let's talk about what you want to do. Why do you want a YouTube channel? Like, what kind of stuff do you want to do on it?
Because eventually, once you get a certain amount of subscribers, you get paid for subscribers and viewers.
Is that why you don't do your chores? You're just waiting for your YouTube channel to hit?
But Gorilla Tag YouTubers are blowing up right now. So, no, a guy gained 1 million subscribers over last summer because he was a Gorilla Tag YouTuber. So, I have a good chance because the good Gorilla Tag YouTubers blow up really fast. I'm great at Gorilla Tag.
That's true, but you know, YouTube stars are like athletes, right? Professional athletes.
I'm
There's a lot of people who play, but only a few who make it big, right? But it's okay to still play and make your own
Ronaldo
stuff.
did both.
That's true. So what is that what you want to do on your YouTube channel? Is like show people why you play video games and talk about video games?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good. You've always asked us if you could go to a video game school, right? Instead of a regular school.
There's this place on Earth. It's a school where you do whatever you want. You show up whenever you want. You don't even have to go. And your desk is like a bed. You get to design it.
What?
And you have to do one class a day.
I think you now know why we're not sending you there. You said it yourself. None of that sounds like a healthy for an 11-year-old.
No, that's not a video game school. That's just a school where the teachers don't care.
Oh, well, we're not sending you there. All right, so that's why you want to YouTube. Connor Joe. Say excuse you. We don't edit this, man. The whole world just heard your burp on this podcast. We leave that in, man. You know that, right?
You're the one who offered me a Mountain Dew.
I did. You got a big Mountain Dew here, and that's probably it's Mountain Dew Zero, just so the world knows it's not full of sugar.
He lets me drink Code Red. I used to have 2 a day.
They don't make a Code Red Zero. Why not? It's like their second most popular Mountain Dew. And
Actually, no. Code
Zero.
Red is their most popular and is the most caffeinated.
So why don't they make a Zero? We should.
Because it's supposed to be caffeinated.
Well, I want to drink Code Red, but I don't drink it with sugar in it. We'll have to send them a letter.
Bro, they're not going to do that. I don't think they can. To make it zero, it would lose all its flavor. The main ingredient is sugar, Dad. No, you look at the back of it, the main ingredient, sugar, then you go on caffeine.
That's not healthy.
Exactly, but they can't make it zero.
Well, that's true. They can make regular Mountain Dew Zero.
No, let's see.
I think they
You
can
go
make
to the
anything
back.
zero. It doesn't have.
Carbonated water.
Well, that's what soda is.
I know, but it doesn't have sugar. The main ingredient, it goes.
There's even more sugar than carbonated water.
It goes sugar, caffeine, carbonated water.
I don't think we're gonna let you drink that anymore.
Nah.
All right. So if you were in charge of the city, what is like a rule you'd like to make? Like think about it for a minute, to help everybody.
To help everybody.
Yeah, like what's a rule we could make to help people out there in the city?
No more smoking.
That's kind of a rule. We don't allow it in all our buildings anymore.
Just you can't do it anywhere.
But there's like personal rights. I don't agree with it, but that doesn't matter. I don't smoke, but That's it. No smoking. We don't even smoke in our house. Where'd that come from?
The streets. No more pollution.
Well, that's a good one. There's a lot of pollution out there. Although I can't control that much as a city
Yeah.
council.
Like, everyone has to have electric fireplaces.
All right.
Like what we have, so no pollution goes out. Does anyone even use a fireplace anymore now?
Lots of people use fireplaces.
So you have to have an electric one to use it.
All right. That's it. That's your rule. I don't even think I can mandate that either, but, I can try. Last time we talked about that, you wanted me to help all the homeless people. Still want me to do that?
Yeah, but pollution first.
All right. We can do them both at the same
Because
time.
pollution's killing everyone.
That's true. That's true.
We're destroying our world at a slow rate. The meteor had the same explosion as like 20,000 bombs from World War II would have.
Talking about the dinosaur, the meteor that hit the dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Yeah. That would probably take care of us pretty quick.
Yeah, it had the same explosion rate of 20,000 bombs from World War II.
So let's talk about school.
School,
Yeah, what are your favorite subjects? What are you good at?
math, PE, and recess.
I don't think recess counts. man.
Lunch.
You
Because
are-
I'm a professional big math.
You are good at math, and who has to help you with math?
My mom, because he's absolutely dookie at math.
It's not my best subject.
What's 1 + 1?
2,
2 + 2.
4.
3, 4 + 4.
Let's not go any
No,
higher.
4 + 4.
8, I hope.
8 + 8.
I don't know, 16-ish?
16 + 16.
Oh, we got to cut out. Oh, I think the feed cut.
32,
But okay,
64,
seriously.
120, 28, 256, 512, 124, or no, 1,024, or 248.
All right. But for real, let's talk about math for a second. Why do you like math? Because you are good at it, and I am not as good at it. Mom's really good at it.
It's kind of a good subject.
Yeah, it's important.
You
isn't it?
need it for literally everything. Math and science are the two things you need for every job.
Yep. That's how we're going to solve problems, right? Like the big problems.
Yeah, like the Big Bang.
Yep. But all the big problems, right? Math and science.
Yep.
And you did the math competition.
Yeah, I did the math competition 2 years ago. I got top 10 and in geometry and basic math. And then last year I didn't get into it because someone else in my class took my place.
It's all right. That's why you got to keep trying. Let's
But
talk about
still.
what sports do you play?
Soccer, basketball, baseball. I'm quitting baseball and I used to do karate.
We'll see if you quit baseball. Let's just get through the season. It's been a rough
And
season.
I do drums.
You do. And so you're going to play basketball and soccer for your school. And
Yeah.
who is going to be your soccer coach at school next year?
Him.
That was kind of an accident. The story of that is I went to your coach last year and I said she said she needed a new assistant coach. And I was like, oh, I can be the assistant coach. No problem. That's great. I can help. I know soccer. I played soccer in high school. I like soccer.
And he still sucks at it.
No.
Yeah.
So she said, okay, great. You can be my new assistant. And then a week later I saw her and what did she say? She said, hey, you know what? Actually, you could just be the coach next year and I'll help you. So apparently now I'm the new soccer coach at your school for middle school. So that'll be interesting. I coached you before. It didn't go too bad.
We didn't win a game.
That was baseball. You were right. The last year I coached you in baseball, our team did not win a single game. In the regular season, we won some tournament games.
We won a tournament game, and it was because we had a backup coach.
You know, a good coach is only as good as his players, right?
So we were better than you?
Maybe, but
He admits
that was a
to
tough
it.
season. But you know what I appreciated about that season?
What?
For real? You guys didn't quit. You played hard every game. You lost some really close games, like one run or a couple you were leading, and then they came from behind at the end and won. But you guys never quit. You played hard all season. So I appreciated that. That meant a lot, both to us and for you guys. And why do you like basketball?
I use my legs more.
You run a lot. You're pretty fast. Yeah.
That's why I like soccer the
what-
most, because it legit only takes legs. You don't have to use your arms, besides if you're goalie. But I'm a defender or midfield.
You like defense in both sports. don't you? Basketball. You steal the ball a lot, right?
And I'm not a shooter in basketball.
You can shoot it, but no, you're not. But I don't know why you like defense so much, but you're good at it in soccer and basketball.
It's because my legs are better than my arms.
Oh, that makes sense. All right, anything else I should have asked you?
No.
Anything else you want to tell people? What's your favorite, what kind of nachos do you like to make at home?
Stepbrother nachos!
Tell people what that is.
Okay, so instead of using tortilla chips, you use Doritos.
Yep.
And I like to use not nacho cheese. I like using Cool Ranch.
Cool Ranch chips. Cool Ranch chips, shredded cheese, pop it in the microwave.
For 40 seconds. If you want it a little more crispy, 50 seconds. If you want it less melted, 30 seconds. But if you want it in between, you do 35 or 45.
That's like the extent of your cooking right there, isn't it? Making stepbrother. And macaroni. You can make some macaroni.
Yeah.
And you can make a sandwich. Anyone can make a sandwich.
Uncooked.
Uncooked.
I would probably burn the house down trying to cook it.
Well, I hope not.
One time I burnt my hand while trying to get a pancake out of our, what is it called?
Oh, our toaster oven?
Yeah, out of our toaster oven while I had the glove on.
Yeah, because you touched it with the other hand, I think. I don't know how you did that to this
No,
day.
I burnt myself through the glove. It wasn't like on my hand. I burnt myself
your wrist or the
right
upper part.
Here
Yeah.
No, and it was still on the glove.
Yeah, that's why you got to be careful. But you learn the lesson. You can't put your arm all the way in with uncovered, right? It's not how we should learn lessons, but it's sometimes how we learn them.
My dad learned that lesson once, my daddy Chris, because he thought the stove wasn't hot anymore. So he placed his hand down on the stove and it burnt his whole hand.
So the lesson I learned is about gas stoves, which you have to light. And we have one of those at church. And one time the burners on top, they all went out. The little flames went out. So I had to relight them. So I go in there and I turn the gas on and I try to light it. And I try to light it. And I keep trying to light it. And I'm like, it's not lighting. And I thought it's because the gas wasn't on. Well, it was because I wasn't hitting the right little button. So the gas was actually on. So when I finally hit the button and lit it, the thing you're not supposed to do is a flame shot back out at me and it burnt my eyebrows off.
Oh, I think
No, I had no eyebrows. They had to grow back.
I would have loved to see. Did you take a picture?
Yeah, they had little eyebrows, but they were all singed and burnt a little. So I learned a valuable lesson, again, the hard way, though. How to light the stove
Have
the
an
right way.
electric stove.
Yeah, well, the gas stove's good at church, but yes, that was a little dangerous. So see, I learned lessons, too. All right.
Why didn't y'all get an electric stove after it burnt down?
Our church did burn down, but that's not why it burned down. So it's been about...
I know why it burned down.
Somebody burnt it down.
Yeah, why didn't you get electric stoves after it burnt down?
Well, because that had nothing to do with it. It was an arsonist. We go to St. David's Episcopal Church, and man, it's been a long time now, like 17 years. Somebody burnt the church part of it down, but we rebuilt. But it didn't burn down because of the appliances. All right.
I know, but in the burning, it probably hurt them. Why didn't y'all just replace?
We did. This is all new equipment, man.
Then why didn't y'all just get an electric stove?
Your question makes no sense. I'm moving on.
Why? When you redid it.
All right, you ready? I have in my hand your questions. What's it say?
Podcast question.
All right, I have no idea what's in here. We're going to open the envelope. You asked me the first one. It's 3 questions. I don't know what they are.
So do you want me to do the funny one first?
You can do them. They're your questions. You got to do them in whatever order you want. Take that out of your mouth. Speak into the microphone, kid.
If you only had $15 budget to survive a zombie apocalypse, what would you buy?
If I only had $50 to survive a zombie apocalypse, 50? Why not like 500 or 5,000?
First category, your weapon for $5.
$50 isn't gonna. Okay, here's what I have to do.
I said 15.
Oh, I thought you said 50. That's even worse. Can I have 50?
No, because the max options. That's what she wrote down, but it's supposed to be 15. I saw it on a YouTube short.
Let me look at this.
No.
Oh yeah, then I'll see the other question. Okay, so $15.
Yes. So your first option, which will be your weapon.
This is my question. Whoa, wait a minute.
No. I'll tell you stuff, and then you have to choose what you buy. So, or the first category, your weapon for $5.
In the mic.
For the first category, weapon for $5, ray gun. $4 modern day assault rifle.
You can't buy that for $4 in the real world. Okay, can I tell you what I'd really do if I could only have $15?
No, Dad, this is just the
Okay, go ahead.
$3, like a handgun.
No,
Two-
stop. First of all, I'm not going to get any of that stuff because I can't buy that for $3. Here's what I would really
No,
do.
it's
I understand your question, but I'm going to answer it for real. If I had $15 and there's a zombie apocalypse, all right?
Dad. No, it's my questions.
I hear you, but I'm not answering that question because that's not realistic. So let me answer it realistically. All right. First of all, I'd have to go to a discount store for $15. What do you think I could get at the dollar store? Could I buy like a scalpel knife?
Dad, some of them are gonna be like futuristic. Just pretend they're at this price.
Okay.
Dad,
Okay. Go ahead.
you said
I'm
I
listening.
could do a funny question.
It is a funny question,
so
but you're
for
making it
$5
way complicated.
a ray gun, $4 a modern day assault rifle, $3 a handgun, $2 a mace, and for $1 a dagger.
Oh, I'm going with the dagger.
$1?
It'll never run out of bullets.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've only spent $1. There we go.
Well, maybe later on one of the appliances.
This is only a
will
1
help
hour
you
show,
figure out-
man. You gotta.
Okay. The next one, your partner.
Who's gonna be my partner?
For $5.
Is this like a video game question here?
For $5, James.
Mike, man.
For $5, you got John Wick.
Mm.
$4, James Bond.
Ooh.
$3. $3. Oh, I forget what I was.
I don't know.
Laura Croft.
Ooh, Laura Croft. That's a good one.
$2 Peter Griffin, and $1 Mo from The
Okay,
Simpsons.
well, those two are out, even though they're cheaper. That's an easy choice for me. It's gonna be James Bond. Can I tell you why?
The $5, no, the $4 option.
The $4, but I'll tell you why it's James Bond. Because when I was growing up, Poppy and my dad used to watch James Bond all the time. I still love James Bond. He's
But
like one of my
There's
favorite
two more
characters.
categories here. You could buy.
I've only spent $5 because I spent $1 on a dagger and I have
so
James
you
Bond
could
as my
buy
partner.
the $5 options both times. Okay, for category 3, you're like item.
All right.
For $5, you have a like ray shield, like a shield of.
That sounds
magnet.
good, although it's expensive.
For $4, you have infinite ammo. Which
I don't need now. I bought a dagger.
for,
You didn't tell me that was an option way
Hey,
back in the first one.
well, for $3, an invisibility cloak, which only one person can fit under.
Ooh, so James Bond and I couldn't hang together under the invisibility cloak.
No, $2, infinite food,
Okay.
and $1, you just get like a motorbike.
Infinite food is only $2. You have to eat.
I know, but
But I need a shield. No, I'm going with infinite food. I need infinite food. I
Okay,
got a dagger, James
the
Bond,
last
and
one, your
infinite food.
vehicle.
I'm living large.
The last one, your vehicle.
All right.
For $5, a tank.
How much money do I have left? I have all kinds of money.
You have $7 left.
All right, so I can buy anything.
No,
Can I buy
Alex-
2 of these things?
Yeah, you could have bought that from the start.
All right, too late now.
$5 a tank. Or $5 a jet, $4 a tank. $3 is like a supercar.
Okay.
$2 you have like a motorbike, and $1 a golf cart.
What good's a golf cart? I think even zombies could outrun a golf cart.
Exactly. That's
I
what-
think I'm going to go with the tank, but not because I can drive around in it. Because I need someplace safe to sleep in.
And that was $4.
Yeah.
You can then buy the drive around option for $2.
There we go. Look at
Which is a
that.
motorbike.
See? There's just one problem with that last option.
Right.
Where's my fuel? What happens when I run out of gas? No infinite fuel
Well,
options.
You should save your money for fuel. Or you could raid the fuel place.
All right, so me and James Bond are going to be running around the zombie apocalypse with my
Yep.
knife, infinite food, chilling in our tank, and sometimes speeding around in our
Okay.
little speedster.
Next question.
Wait, I just want to make sure I got this all right.
Yeah.
All right, I actually got a lot for $15.
What are your plans for fixing potholes?
What? What do you care? You don't drive around the city.
Hey.
Are you telling me that when you drive around the back seat, it's a little bumpy? Is that what's happening? All right. So we do have a plan to fix potholes. Can I talk about it for a minute? All right.
Yeah.
So first of all, we've got to use a little better material. And we have a fairly new public works director. His name is Steve. And he's a really smart guy. And he's actually looking into this problem really intensely and trying to figure out what better materials we can use to do the potholes better. He's also looking at, instead of us just like some of our roads that are really bad, we just keep filling the potholes in. We really need to go out there and we need to just what they call overlay the whole road. And that'll work for a couple years. So we're looking at all the really bad roads to see if we can just go overlay them so we can stop having potholes like we are. That's the two big things, man. Better materials. And we probably need to hire some contractors to help us with the potholes because our city staff works really hard, but they can't do it all in one day either. So that's how I'm going to try to fix potholes so that you can have a smoother back ride seat while you're driving around in our cars using my gas.
What made you run for city council?
Oh, that's a good question. So a couple of things. First of all, I decided that I'm from here, right? You were born here. I was born here. Actually, you weren't born here. You know that? You were born in Lawrence, but you grew up here. But anyway, so I really like my city. And so I wanted to help the city in a different way than I had been. And also I saw some things I thought I could help in government, like help make policy to help move our city and improve things and help people that way. And at the time too, I wanted the city council person we had, who was a really nice guy, but he and I just disagreed on some stuff. So I won by 13 votes my first time. You know, what's crazy is, let's see, you're 11. The first time I ran for office was 8 years ago. So you were 3 years old.
Yeah,
I actually
you ran for mayor.
I did. I lost that race.
And only lost by a few hundred.
Yeah, it was close. But then I ran for city council. But what's crazy is most of your life I've been running for office or in elected office, haven't I? So you're kind of used to it, right? What's the good thing about that, though, is right that I can do things and I can help people and you get to see kind of a lot of interesting things and meet a lot of people. But what's the downside?
You're always having meetings.
I am always having meetings, talking to the mic. I'm always having meetings. So sometimes, although I do a pretty good job, do I do a pretty good job of trying to be at most stuff?
Yeah.
But it's not perfect, is it? Into the mic, man.
I wasn't talking.
You were going. I'm asking you questions. Yeah, but do I miss some stuff?
Yes.
Yes. And do I feel bad about that sometimes?
Sometimes.
And some nights do I come home really late?
Yes. It's like last night he came home so late. It was like 11.
Yeah, it was 11. But why were you still awake? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yes. So I ran for city council because it was one different way that I thought I could help people. And so that's why I keep running for office. And you know what's going to happen? Someday I'm not going to run anymore because I'm not going to do this for
You should
20
run
years.
for president.
No. And or someday people may say, hey, thanks, Spencer, for your service, but we're not going to vote for you anymore. And if that's fine, too. That's how the process works. But until then, I'm just going to keep trying to help people.
Okay.
All right. So
What?
are those all the questions you have for me?
No, I have one more.
Uh-oh. This one's unscripted. Now I'm a little nervous. I didn't even script those, but you're going rogue.
You ready?
Yep, make it good. Remember, people are listening.
I'm going back to what you were doing earlier. If you could do anything with $15 in a zombie apocalypse world.
Like a real $15?
Yeah.
That'd be tough, first of all. I'd have to go to like a discount store and I'd have to find like a knife, like a small knife, but you still need some kind of knife anytime, right? And then maybe some duct tape, although that wouldn't last long. Of course, once the zombie apocalypse hit, can't you just like take stuff? Don't do that normally. Looting is evil and horrible and bad.
That's what I was going to say.
But in a zombie
no,
apocalypse.
I'd go in and come out with $15 and hundreds of pounds of food.
Yeah, I don't know how many hundreds you could buy with. You could buy a lot of canned food.
No, it's a zombie apocalypse. The cashiers are going to be dead or running around. You could just go in there and steal.
Right, so what am I going to spend my $15 on? This is before the zombie apocalypse, though, right? In case it's coming.
No, it's during.
I'd need $20 at least.
No, you would use it for gas.
That's true. You know what a good city councilman's supposed to say?
What?
That I can make that $15 stretch into anything and solve all my problems with it. But that's only half true, so I won't say that. That'd be the political answer. All right, so now you know what we do in this podcast?
I didn't really.
No, we do emails.
No, you would go back, make a time machine, go back to.
I can't build a time machine for $15.
Yeah, you can.
Also,
and then,
what did we establish? Who's better at math, me or you?
me.
So you need to build the time machine because it's
No,
going to be math that
and
builds
then
the
you
time
go-
machine.
Oh, back in times when gas is super cheap, so like you could get like 30 gallons.
That
Oh,
one,
like, no,
30 gallons is
30
not that much.
No, 30 car fills for $15, and then you could go back with all of those and just be on your way. I'm on my way.
I would just
I'm
like to
on
point
my
out that if I had a
way.
time machine in a zombie apocalypse, I wouldn't just use it to just go get gas and come back. I'd probably use it to stop the zombie apocalypse. Just saying, that would be my first attempt. Just a thought. All right, you ready
You
for
wouldn't think.
you ready for emails? All right, you want to know what the first one is? This is a great one. You ready? Dear Councilman Duncan, tell your son Connor that he should remember to always listen to everything you say and follow all the
No.
rules and also do his chores and homework. Look, it's signed every Topeka citizen.
You made that yourself.
What? I don't think so. I think this was a real email that every citizen in Topeka sent me
I know.
when they heard that you were going to be on my podcast.
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. You're right.
Yo, did y'all send that to him?
Yep, the answer is yes. Okay, you're right. But here's a real email I got. It said, "Hello, Councilman. How do I get my curb fixed? Thank you." That is a question I get a lot, especially in the summer when it rains. So if you want your curb fixed, depends on where the curb is, but you have to contact us, and we have a curb replacement program. The good news is we will get you on the list, and eventually we will fix your curb.
Yeah, in 5 years.
You're actually not that far off. Sadly,
6?
see, even the 11-year-old understands that we are
6
backlogged.
years?
No, it's actually the other
7?
way. It's actually the other direction. But the point is,
4 years.
it's about 2 years behind because we have so many different requests and we only have so much money every year to put into the program. So, but call me if you want your curb replaced. I will get you on the list. And in fact, a guy contacted me a couple weeks ago. He'd been on the list for almost a year. He was just getting a little frustrated. He wanted an update. I was able to follow up. And guess what he sent me a picture of today? Crews are out there fixing his curb. So it does work. You just have to get in touch with me. All right? So that's how we get our curbs fixed. Now,
Well, why does the government?
to the mic, man.
No, why does the government need to wait to get money when they're the people who print the money?
Well, the cities do not print money. Two things, and you know some of this. First is if the government just prints too much money, they can't back it. And then we have, that thing called inflation and the prices go way up and things like your V-Bucks and Robux on your video games cost way more money. So they can't just print it unless they can back it with silver, gold, other things that we do in the economy. But second of all, cities don't print money. The way we get money
Does
is
the president print it?
no, but the government does, but the city doesn't. So
Isn't the city the
listen,
government?
listen. No, we are a.
Excuse me.
Oh my gosh, you are so burpy. People just gonna think I have a kid who burps all the time.
I do.
That's 2 burps on here. So there's a
Actually-
famous radio host who burps online, but you don't get to listen to him. But he burps
Why?
a lot because he's no. But so anyway, the point is just listen up. So the city, we collect tax money, right? So everything I pay for has to come from taxes. So the problem is I have to find a way to pay for everything while also keeping your taxes low. And that's tough, but that's the struggle we do is to make sure we're using your money the right way. So we're not, you pay taxes. Every time you buy anything at the store with your money, you pay taxes.
You pay the taxes for me.
Well, it's your money when you.
Well, I never have enough money to pay for these things, so you just end up paying for the rest.
That's
of
because you don't do your chores like you're supposed to all the time, like
Well,
the people
I
of
don't
Topeka
need
are
to do
telling
my
you.
chores.
Okay, are you ready to finish this podcast here today, sir?
Yeah, well, it's not my house. I should have to do it if I don't make the mess.
You do make the mess, and you know that is.
No, I don't. The trash is mainly your stuff. I don't
No,
throw my things
you
away.
absolutely
no.
don't.
Remember, I don't throw my things away.
You do.
You throw them away for me.
No, that's not how it works in our house.
That's how you did.
What's the rule we've always had, even when you're little? You're responsible for your own stuff, right? Just like what was the other
So
rule we
you're
used to have?
responsible for your chores.
My chores, but hey, stop the argument. Like, listen, talk to me for a second. What's the other thing we used to tell you when you were climbing?
If you can get up, you can get down.
That's right. So when you get up there and you'd be like, "Help me down," you're like, "You got yourself
I would
up."
never say help me down. I was a certified
You-
climber.
Well, that's true, but that's partly why. I mean, we wouldn't just leave you stranded up there all night, but it's the way we taught you.
Yeah, if I were to cry enough, they would help me down.
Eventually, but our goal was if you can climb up, then you got to learn how to climb
Actually,
yourself
that wasn't
down.
your goal. That was Grandma's goal.
That's true. Grandma taught us that, but it was a good one to learn.
I never needed your help.
All right, well.
I was a baby ninja.
All right, you ready for the end of this thing? We do something at the end called our question of the week. You know what last question? You want to know what last week's question was?
What?
It was, should the city of Topeka ban fireworks?
No.
Do you think we should ban fireworks?
Well, we only get to do it one day.
2 days. You can do it on July 3rd and July 4th, but that's it under our law.
We should ban doing them on July 3rd because it's like not actually the day, but July 4th is, so that's when you can do it. And no doing it like early. You can do like smoke bombs and stuff, but you can't do actual fireworks till nighttime.
That's a good rule, which is why we have the rule. Because you know what, a lot of people get concerned about their pets. It scares dogs. And then we have military people who are in wars or fought, and they get PTSD, and it makes that bad. So the questions, that's not this week's question. That was last week's question. And the responses we got back was, I had more yeses than nos. So I had more people who responded who said we should ban it.
So we're banning it.
Probably not, but we can definitely... We get the request every year to at least take a look at our ordinances.
Just set them off whenever you want.
No, nowhere in Kansas can you just set them off wherever you want and whenever you want. There's always rules, and they're kind of dangerous.
No, there's certain places where you can do it whenever you want.
So do you want to know what this week's question of the week is?
What?
This week's question of the week is, do you watch city council meetings?
No.
That's what we're going to put out there. But have you ever watched a city council meeting except when we make you come to the meeting?
No, the only one I've ever seen is the one that y'all forced me to go to, and it was miserable.
I think that's what most people think. There can be kind of long. Last night's meeting was 4.5 hours.
Yeah, they are miserable.
Although you did come with me when I got sworn in, and you stood up there with me while I got sworn in for the first time. No, that was fun. That was nice. That's a good picture. I like that picture. It's the first time I ever got elected to anything, and you're up there with me. But yes, but lots of people do watch the city council.
The first time he ever was in an election was in like high school. Well, he was running for like class president or something. And he lost by like every vote in the school.
It was middle school. Thanks for bringing up that painful memory. So that's the question of the week. Do you watch city council?
Oh, I've won an award.
What award did you win?
The class award.
You have,
the person to win a Guinness, the most likely person in our class to win a Guinness World Award for eating the weirdest foods.
That's true, which is maybe why you burped twice during this whole
podcast.
I
eat crazy foods. At school, I used to eat broccoli with ketchup on it.
Yeah, but you eat your vegetables, and you like broccoli.
Yeah, I
can't get you to eat Brussels sprouts, but you eat broccoli.
No, I eat broccoli. They didn't have to force me to eat vegetables when I was a baby. I was one of those 1 in a million.
So I can tell you what kind of parents Mom and I are.
Helicopter?
No,
I'm kidding.
No, we are not. No, we're the kind of parents who tell people, who talk all the time about how proud we are that you eat your fruits and vegetables. And we try to pretend like we taught you that when really the secret is you totally just eat your own fruits and vegetables on your own.
The secret to get your kids to eat your fruits and vegetables, you don't beg them. You just put them in front. They will not say like, no. It's once you want them to eat it, they won't. Because babies don't do what you want. But once they say, please don't eat it, they'll eat it. Because they don't comprehend, do what our parents say.
That is a great way to end this. Good tip. Thank you for being here, Connor. I'm glad we're able to do this. I'm glad you finally got to come on YouTube, and we'll keep talking about your own YouTube show. All right. All right. Well, thank you. No, we're done. We're done. Say goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.